Hello everyone, my name is Mini Sethi. I hope you all are staying healthy. Today we are going to talk about Harris Todaro Model. This model explains rural-urban migration and it was developed in 1917 by John R. Harris and Michael Todaro. And the main assumption of this model is before migrating from rural to urban area, people make comparison between actual rural wage rate and expected urban wage rate. Please listen carefully. Main assumption of this model is before migrating from rural to urban area, people make comparison between actual rural wage rate and expected urban wage rate. For example, actual rural wage rate is 30 and actual urban wage rate is 60, but we need expected urban wage rate, not actual urban wage rate. And we can calculate expected urban wage rate when we multiply chance to get employment in urban sector with the actual urban wage rate. Actual urban wage rate is 60 and we assume chance to get employment in urban sector is equal to 0.4. When we multiply 0.4 with 60, it will become equal to 24 and this 24 will be called expected urban wage rate. Here you can see expected urban wage rate is less than the actual rural wage rate. In such a case, people will not migrate. People will only migrate when expected urban wage rate is more than the actual rural wage rate. Now we will see equilibrium point where actual rural wage rate is equal to expected urban wage rate with the help of one formula. Formula is WA equal to LA over LJ into WN. Here WA is actual wage rate in rural area and we assume value of WA is equal to 30. LA is the total number of jobs available in urban sector and we assume value of LA is equal to 100. And LJ is total number of job seekers in urban area and we assume value of LJ is equal to 200. Job seeker means how many people are finding job in urban area. And when we divide LA with LG, or we can say that LA over LG is equal to chance to get employment in urban sector. Value of LA is 100 and value of LJ is 200. 100 over 200 is equal to 0.5. The 0.5 will be called chance to get employment in urban sector. And WN is actual wage rate in urban sector and we assume value of WN is equal to 60. Now we will put value of all variable in this formula. Value of WA is 30 and value of LA over LJ is equal to 0.5 and value of WN is 60. 0.5 multiplied with 60 is equal to 30. So this 30 will be called expected wage rate in urban sector and this 30 will be called actual wage rate in rural sector. So here you can see actual wage rate in rural sector is equal to expected wage rate in urban sector. This will be called our one of equilibrium point according to this model. Now we understand this model with the help of one diagram. In this diagram on x-axis we have number of labor and y-axis this side we have wage rate in urban sector or we can say the wage rate in manufacturing sector. And this side we have wage rate in rural sector or we can say wage rate in agriculture sector. This black curve shows labor demand in rural sector. This red curve shows labor demand in urban sector. E is our initial equilibrium point. At this equilibrium point, you can see wage rate in both sectors are equal to each other. Wage rate in rural sector is equal to OWA and wage rate in urban sector is equal to O1WM. O1WM is exactly equal to OWA. So we can say that at this E point, wage rate in both sectors are exactly equal to each other. At this equilibrium point, OL2 workers are employed in rural sector and O1L2, this amount of workers are employed in urban sector. So E is our initial equilibrium point. At this equilibrium point, there is no unemployment or we can say there is no migration because wage rate in both sectors are exactly equal to each other. Then why people from a rural area will migrate in urban area? But according to this model, in reality, this equilibrium is not possible because there is differences in wage rate. Wage rate in urban sector is high as compared to rural sector plus wage rate in urban sector fixed. On the other hand, wage rate in rural sector are very less and fluctuate very much. That's why people migrate from rural area to urban area. Now we will see second equilibrium with the help of this diagram. And condition of second equilibrium is actual rural wage rate should exactly equal to expected urban wage rate. Suppose actual rural wage rate is equal to OWA1 and we assume value of OWA1 is equal to 30. At the same time, actual urban wage rate is equal to O1WM1 and we assume value of O1WM1 is equal to 60. But according to our equilibrium, we need expected urban wage rate, not actual urban wage rate. And we can calculate expected urban wage rate when we multiply actual urban wage rate with the chance to get employment in urban sector. Suppose chance to get employment in urban sector is equal to 0.5. When we multiply 60 with 0.5, it will become equal to 30. So 30 will be called expected urban wage rate. So now you can see value of O1WM1 is also become equal to 30 and it will be called expected urban wage rate. So here you can see expected urban wage rate is equal to actual rural wage rate. E1 will be called equilibrium point in urban sector at this wage rate, and this wage rate will be called expected wage rate, that is equal to 30, and this E will be called equilibrium point in rural sector. At this equilibrium point, wage rate is equal to 30, which will be called actual wage rate. So here you can see at this both point E and E1 point, actual wage rate in rural area is exactly equal to expected wage rate in urban sector. And when we join this both equilibrium point, it will be called second equilibrium according to this model. At this E equilibrium point, you can see OL workers are employed in rural sector. And at E1 equilibrium point, you can see L1O1 workers are employed in urban sector. So, OL workers are employed in rural sector. L1O1 workers are employed in urban sector. But what's about these people who lies between L1? Where these people will work? So, according to this model, urban sector divided into two parts, formal and informal. Formal sector are highly organized sector and pay higher wage rate. But they can provide employment to only this amount of people. Only O1, L1 people are working under urban formal sector because they don't have more requirement. On the other hand, informal sector are unorganized sector. They provide very less wage rate and do exploitation of workers. But workers don't have any option. Neither they want to go back their home, nor they are able to get a job in formal sector. That's why forcefully they have to work in informal sector. So workers who lies between L and L1 are working under informal sector. And this is all about Harris Todaro model. I think you got it, and thank you so much for watching this video. Bye, take care.